My husband tried to make my death look like something I did to myself, and for a long time, everyone believed him because he made sure they would. When I married Daniel, I thought I was choosing peace. He was quiet, dependable, the kind of man who never lost his temper. People described him as steady and safe. After years of chaotic relationships, that felt like love. What I didn't understand then was that calm doesn't always mean kind. In the beginning, his control looked like care. He offered to manage our bills so I wouldn't stress. He reminded me to take breaks when I worked too long. He told me he worried about my sleep, my anxiety, my health. Slowly, my life became smaller, but it felt reasonable at the time. I stopped making decisions without consulting him, stopped going out as much, stopped trusting my own instincts. Daniel had a way of speaking for me, especially around other people. "She's been overwhelmed lately," he'd say gently. "I'm just trying to support her." At first, I was grateful. Then I noticed something unsettling. People started believing him more than they believed me. The first accident happened on a quiet evening. I fell down the stairs when the hallway lights didn't turn on. Daniel rushed to my side, frantic, apologetic, holding me while I cried. Everyone said I was lucky to have such a devoted husband. The second incident was worse. I became violently ill after dinner, dizzy and confused, barely able to stand. Daniel insisted it was stress. He spoke to the doctor for me. He filled my prescriptions. He watched carefully as I took every pill. I began to feel like my body wasn't mine anymore. What frightened me most wasn't the accidents, it was how calm Daniel remained every time something went wrong. He was never panicked, never surprised, always prepared. So I started paying attention. I kept a private journal, hidden where he wouldn't look. I wrote down dates, symptoms, conversations. Patterns began to emerge. The episodes happened when I was isolated, when I was exhausted, when no one else could witness what was happening. I wanted to confront him, but something deep inside told me not to. The night everything changed, I woke up feeling heavy, as if my limbs didn't belong to me. My thoughts were slow, foggy. I tried to speak, but my tongue wouldn't cooperate. Daniel was standing beside the bed. "Stay calm," he said softly. "You're not well." That was the last thing I remember. When I woke up again, I was in a hospital room. My head throbbed, my mouth was dry, and sitting on the table beside my bed was a typed note. Daniel told everyone he found it. A note saying I didn't want to live anymore. But as I read it, my chest tightened. The words didn't sound like me. The phrasing was wrong. The tone was detached, clinical. And on the day it was supposedly written, my journal was filled with plans, things I was excited about, things I hadn't shared with anyone. A nurse noticed something else. A medication in my system that I'd never been prescribed. Just enough to disorient me. Just enough to make the story believable. I didn't accuse Daniel. I thanked him for saving me. I played the role he expected, fragile, confused, dependent. Meanwhile, I asked for help quietly. I spoke to a social worker. I asked doctors to document everything. I requested meetings without my husband present. Slowly, the truth surfaced. Financial records had been altered. Insurance policies adjusted. Medical information changed without my consent. This wasn't an accident. It was a strategy. When Daniel was arrested, he didn't cry or protest. He simply watched me as if he couldn't understand how I'd slipped out of his control. The trial was brutal. Hearing my life explained as evidence felt dehumanizing. But the verdict was guilty, and when it was over, the silence felt different. Peaceful. People still ask me how I didn't see it sooner. The answer is uncomfortable, but simple. When someone wants to destroy you quietly, they don't use violence first. They use trust. They use patience. They use love as camouflage. I'm alive because I listened to the voice that told me something wasn't right long before anyone else did.